Hello, I'm David Kirkby. I'm the Training Manager at Churchill Education. I work with a number of exceptional trainers. I hold qualifications from grad diploma of management in learning. My career as a training manager started when I got out of the army, but it wasn't always that way. Immediately started my own business working for the army, essentially writing training products. My wife was working for TAFE and she came and said that they had lost a staff member on stress leave and they were just looking for someone for 1 day a week to go in and help them out in the government side. So I went in for 1 day a week and helped out, and over time that 1 day a week became 2 days a week and 3 days a week and 4 days a week until eventually I was working full time for TAFE in the government. I joined the army in 1984. Yes, that's right, as a 19-year-old, 1984. Went through Kapuka, which is standard recruit training, always fun. And then for the next 11 years, I was a bomb disposal technician or an EOD technician and an EOD manager, so managing work sites and so on. So very lucky because the EOD side allowed me to go to lots of different countries and see lots of interesting things. The army didn't really give me any qualifications. When I first got out, they started on what was known as the accreditation process. It was pretty new when I got out, so that was in 2004, 2005. Essentially, I got a diploma of explosive ordnance disposal, so a diploma of bomb technician, which really isn't all that useful to anybody. Nothing really that I could use particularly well in the public sector, which is one of the reasons I started working for myself. I cannot say I didn't enjoy it. I loved every minute, I loved every country I went to, I loved all the experiences, but we got to the point where we were 3 years in a row. I was away for 7 months of those 3 years. I had a 5-year-old, 6-year-old son who wasn't, and all military people are familiar with his story. You know, he wasn't enjoying the fact that I was away so often, and it was just time to move on and find a job where I spent a bit more time at home. And then I was with TAFE a total of 5 years. So then towards the end of the 5 years, I needed an advanced diploma of government. TAFE couldn't give it to me because they didn't have it yet. So essentially they wanted me to get it so that I could start teaching it. I spoke to a colleague of mine, John, who had been to Train to Succeed. He said, go and talk to them. I went to Train to Succeed, as it was then, talked to Randall and picked up a diploma of an advanced diploma of government very quickly and easily, essentially. And that started that conversation. Randall and I got on quite well, and over the next 6-7 months or so, we had a conversation every now and then eventually I saw the light, left TAFE and came to work here. First thing I would tell them to do, if you're getting out of the military and you're looking to where am I going to go now, the first thing I would say is sit down, think long, think hard, work out what it is you want to do. But once you've done that, once you've worked out what you want to do, then you need to look at qualifications. Pick up some qualifications, come to us, and we will talk to you about qualifications. And it's a relatively straightforward process. We have the subject knowledge to help you. We've been there, well, I've been there and done that. So, you know, you say to me, I was a warrant officer in the infantry corps, and I know what that means. I think if you're a military person, even though the accreditation process is in place now, the way I explain it to people when I talk to them is that our understanding of what they do and how they go about their business is more realistic than the military. So the military is willing to grant someone who gets out at warrant officer level like I did a diploma in some cases, or statements of attainment. We can go further than that because we've done, I believe, we have a better understanding of the roles and responsibilities that the military does. So you come to us, we have that base knowledge, that subject knowledge, and we also are not going to make you produce 1 million pieces of paper. So you don't have to hassle the orderly room, you just have to come and talk to us. There are some basic paper that we need from you, but otherwise it's a nice, easy process. Have a bit of a chat. There's a couple of things that it's a good idea to bring with you or to have available to you. First and the most important is a PM Keys record long, the full one, because we look at things like substantive ranks and we look at deployment deployment records for certain qualifications like security and risk management. We look at all the courses you've done. We look at subject courses and so on for things like training and assessment. So we need a PM Keys log is a useful thing. On top of that, if you've got a PAR, the last one or the one, a couple of ones before that, it gives us a good picture of who you are and what you've been doing, because often a PM Keys long doesn't give us the rounded story. ROAs of any courses that you've done that you think are useful, bring those along as well. You can also, if you want to, and those three things are the most important, and we can work off those without a problem in the world, and we can have a talk to you about that. Other things that are useful though are things, the thing we call is work product, and those things are often, the easiest one for me to say is if you're an engineer, I was an engineer, you did a subject 4 for sergeant or subject 4 for warrant officer, and you produce reports and engineering reports, and those, if you have copies of those are interesting things, because they're evidence of things like project management and so on. To get in touch with us, go to the website www.churchilleducation.edu.au. Have a look on there, and there's 1,000 ways to contact us on there, from live chat through to phone numbers and email addresses and so on. Or you can ring us direct, 1300 793 002, and ask to speak to one of the staff like John or Tracy, or speak directly to me.